impromptu live. I did schedule a live um, for Leo season. I'm still going to do the Leo readings, but it's going to be in shorts. Um, and it's going to be a different, not who's coming towards Leo. It's just going to be the Leo message, only because we're almost finished in Leo season. And so much has happened between Cancer season and Leo season in my household. So, yeah, my visibility is null and void at this moment. But I did want to give us a recap of what's going on right now, especially today. There is a solar eclipse happening. It's not visible to the United States. Really going to be out in Iceland, Greenland, and all that good stuff on that side. Um, but this solar eclipse, I'm going to read out of my notes really quickly. This live is not going to be long at all because I do want to get the cards out. It's been a while, so any Leos that are out there, I apologize. You know, I love Leos. Leos is one of my top fives. Yesterday was my grandmother's 99th birthday. So, yeah, I love Leos. When I tell you I love Leos, especially the woman, these people is ride or die. Wale, what's going on? Thank you. Every day is a miracle, and every moment is a life is a blessing. Absolutely, because the trials and tribulations within this last month from my solar return to this solar return, um, it's been crazy. But anyway, like I said, I just wanted to give us some updates of what's going on in Leo season. You know, like I said, today is a solar eclipse. So, you know, that energy when we're dealing with eclipses, I'm not a scientist, you know, astrologer, disclaimer. So, you know, forgive me for explaining in layman's terms what the eclipse is. But eclipse is only that the sun and the moon and the earth eclipse each other. So when it's the sun, it's eclipsing the sun. When it is the lunar eclipse, which is going to be happening at the end of the month, that means that the moon is being eclipsed. Now, we can see solar eclipses depending on where you're at. However, thank you, salute, salute. Um, However, like I said, the United States will not be seeing this eclipse. The last time we were able to see an eclipse was in um, I think it was in 2024. We had one, and then 2017. So, you know, go back into your Rolodex and your archive, and you can see what was going on there. But again, that's what eclipse means. This energy lasts us for about 6 months, and that being that we're having another eclipse at the end of this month, that's going to be in the moon. The moon is going to be showing, or it's going to be showing us our inner thoughts, our inner secrets, our emotions. Whenever there's a sun eclipse or a solar eclipse, that's highlighting everything. Leo season is the sun. Leo represents the sun. So we're highlighting everything that's going on. It's being exposed. Um, Mercury's in Leo right now. I think I wrote that down. Yes, I wrote that down. So I think my daughter is my oldest. That's what I'm saying. I got a lot of stuff going on here. And my cat's in the background. Anyway, so um, so let's get on with the information so we could take this with us, keep this in mind, right? Like I said, Leo represents the sun, so everything that's, you know, that's hidden is being exposed. These eclipses last for 6 months, being that there's two eclipses back to back, almost back to back within the same month. The energy is still the same. It's going to be there for the 6 months period. So use this energy to capitalize, do what you need to do. Um, if you need to tell some people off in a very diplomatic way, now is the time, because we have no Mercury retrograde. We have Mercury in Leo, and that's where my Mercury is at. So when I talk, it's with passion. When I talk, it's with realness. When I talk, it's tough love, but it's tough love, and I'm letting you know, hey, some things need to be, you know, pulled aside. I need to pull your coat and tell you something, but it's all coming out of love. There's no love lost. I'm fierce about my love. My Venus is in Leo. I'm fierce about that love. So we had an 8-8 portal, if anybody's familiar with that. Okay, that's the pyramids in Giza or Gaza that are all lined up This has been thousands of years with the, I don't want to misrepresent or misquote out the ancient civilization, but I think it's the Dogma or Dogon, a tribe that were doing, salute, old head, salute. I didn't check out your messages yet, so forgive me. I'm doing this really quickly. I'm not even gonna try to stay on this long, because I do need to get the cards out, and I'm not going live for the cards for Leo season. So anyway, it's the 8-8 portal is the lineup of the pyramids with the celestial heavens, if you will, and that's when that portal opens up. If you subscribe to this, if y'all are here, you already subscribe to that, right? Um, so it ends today, or it ended yesterday rather. Wait, today is what? Today. It ends today, the portal of the 888 portal. So what does that all mean? I mean, honestly, I don't do any rituals to that. I used to back in the days when I first learned about it, but now that you know, it's like, you know what? You are in control of what you want to manifest. You know what I mean? Like, you could do, yes, you could do moon rituals. Yes, you could do sunbathing and charge up and become X-Men and things of that nature. But you know what? You're still in control, as they say, of your destiny. And is there an outside force that makes things happen as well? To me, absolutely. Whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it source, universe, God, Yahweh, Allah, Jehovah, whatever you want to say, there is an outside source, energy, spirit around us. But what I'm saying is, if you want to do these rituals according to the 8-8 the portal leading up to today, I don't know. I don't know what the ritual is for that. I apologize. But if you're into numbers and all that stuff, then hey, it makes sense. All right, so let's go on with the solar eclipse, because that's happening right now. Okay, so it's the first time in Leo season since 2019. 2019, yes, a source above the thing control. Right. So, you know, that's how I feel. There's some people are like, I don't believe in God, and I don't believe in... Okay, okay. I don't believe in Allah. Listen, it's all the same thing. Are there deities? Are there spiritual deities around? I believe so. You didn't make the trees. You didn't put those stars up there. When people say that there is nothing out there, and I'm just like, but you didn't make that. You could create life, meaning you can make another child. You know what I'm saying? Bring a human being into this world. But how'd you get the mountains formed out in Colorado? Like, how are those pyramids down in South America like that? Like, who did that? Yes, I know man did that, but really? You know, like the Amazon forest. How did that all form up? Man didn't just do that. So, you know, I don't like to debate all that because everybody has their own belief system. But what I'm trying to say is there's some shit bigger than you. Okay. So, Leo season, the solar eclipse, more pyramids under the sea. Exactly. Now, you know we can't get down there. So, how did that all form? Miss me with there's nothing greater than you. Like, miss me with it. We can't even get to a certain level in the ocean, or our lungs will collapse. Our heads will, we will explode. There's creatures down there that sometimes we're privy enough a human can see it, but for the most part, there's stuff down there we don't know what's going on. Is there mermaids? Yes, I'm one of them. But what I'm saying is, who knows what's going on down in the ocean? That's the real untapped alien planet, if you will. Wink, wink, if you know what I'm talking about. Because, yeah, as above, so below. But, yeah, there's stuff. There's ships. And I ain't talking about the sunken ones. There's portals down there, too. Anyway, I don't want to divert. Let's go back. All right, so the solar eclipse, expect unexpected endings. What does that mean? Relationships, jobs, being in a home that, endings, people, friends, right? Places and things. My little baby cat. All right. Unforeseen opportunities happening. Okay? This is all in this Leo solar eclipse. This is in with 6 months. You're not going to see it today. So if you're waiting on that to be like, oh, I'm waiting for this ending to happen, it's all in due time. I say in divine time. I'm on that type of time. It's in divine time. When things are supposed to happen, it happens. Yes, you can cut it off. You can cut them off. You can leave. But there's something else that drives it, that is unseen. Okay? Life-changing new beginnings. Fatal encounters. What does that mean? That was a Freudian slip. Fatal encounters, be careful. But it means fated encounters is what I was trying to say. Fated encounters. Meaning the destiny that these people are supposed to be put into your life. This situation was supposed to be put in your life for a good reason. Not, maybe it could be karmic, but when we hear fated, that means that this was destined for this situation, person, place to happen. Okay? Things that lead us toward the path of more aligned with our soul's growth. Okay? Again, on the celestial level. These are things to help us rise above, out of this meat suit, and tap into the God frequency of ourselves, if you want to use that word, right? Because we are celestial beings. We are beings that are, again, as above, so below. Our DNA is of the earth and maybe out of it, but you're just not skin and bones. Why do you think, now I'm going to go off the rails again, but why do you think with a certain group of people, they were eating another certain group of people because they wanted that God body. They wanted that fountain of youth. When you hear black doesn't crack, it's not a slight to anybody else, but you could look at him. This man said to me yesterday, I told him I just turned 50. He said, where? Where? Because you look like you in your 30s. How are you 50? I don't stress certain things, and I drink lots of water. Moving on. So this is for your soul purpose, okay? When we hear these alignments and things of that nature, this is for you to elevate. Get up on those frequencies. We are merging, supposedly, I believe, with timelines, with the frequencies, the dimensions. So, yeah, we're living on 3D, but some of us have tapped into the 4D and the 5D. Some of us, if you're really good, have gotten to the 7D. That's a talk for another time. You don't stay up there too long because you're not supposed to be up there. I'm talking about your soul elevating up there, okay? You're talking to Foxy Moon. She knows about that stuff. All right, so let's also talk about some other planets that are happening right now during this Leo season. We got Venus, okay? Venus is the planet of love, if you will, the planet of money. And it's going to be in the sign of Libra. So that's you are yang energy. Yes. You know what? I am yang energy, for real, for real. When I did my natal chart, I think I have like one number higher, and that puts me in the yang. So that's that masculine energy. I think that's why I ruffle some guys' feathers sometimes, because I can tap into that masculine energy and be like, oh, you're a female. You've got to stay in your place. I'm from the Bronx, baby. No. Okay, so anyway, Venus is in Libra. That's an air sign. Libra is about justice, truth, all right? things of that nature. So Libra is at home in Venus. Venus rules Libra, and it also rules Taurus. Okay, another favorite sign of mine. Libra and Taurus are another favorite sign of mine. Because Libras is just, you know what you do, Libras. You know, I don't even have to tell you you know what you do. You know the powers you possess. And how y'all be pissing people off. So, being that Libra's in home in Venus, it's to remind us that our relationships thrive when true harmony and reciprocity are present. So there goes that balance, there goes that fairness, there goes that justice. Okay, this could be relating into relationships. So right now Venus is in Libra. This is talking about our relationships. It came into place August 6th. It'll most likely stay. I don't have the timeline of when it ends, but these big planets, or Venus, Mercury, they don't really stay long. It's the outer planets. When they retrograde, they stay for a long time. Like we have Pluto in Aquarius right now. This is why you see a lot of stuff going on politically, because Aquarius, which is another one of my favorite signs, rules the world, rules humanitarian, rules technology. And Pluto is about endings. Pluto is destruction. But Pluto is also a good thing as well. Like I don't want to throw shade on Pluto, but so that's an example of an outer planet. Okay. Venus being that it's in Libra, okay, it reminds us of the importance, and I'm reading out my little notebook if y'all see me looking down. It reminds of the importance of relating from a place of authenticity, okay, of letting ourselves be truly known and seen. That doesn't mean be flashy, that doesn't mean ostentatious, that doesn't mean, being conceited. It's about the importance of being authentic in this time. And there's a lot of stuff happening in Leo, and Leo will want you to be a little braggadocious. Leo wants you to see me as I'm here standing. It's the sun. So try to not come out being conceited. Say what you really mean to say, right? And keep it pushing. You don't have to over-explain yourself. You need to just say what it is and keep it pushing. Okay? And so that is the same time that this transit asks us to consider whether we may compromise too much, sacrifice our needs and desires to please others while building resentment deep down. That is shrinking yourself for somebody else or a group of people that shit ain't right. So you're going to speak up on it. But be careful, because if you're at work and you want to say what you really want to say, you don't want to lose that job because you standing in your authentic self. Okay. Mercury has entered Leo. I like Mercury and I love Leo. That came in August 9th, all during Leo season. Mercury is the planet of communication, also the planet of technology, transportation. Okay, it's a move type of planet. And when it goes retrograde, it only stays for maybe about 3 weeks or so. But realize that anytime these planets, if there's any planet that goes retrograde, that just means that the energy is slowing down while we're moving forward. So it's not that the planets are going backwards, it's the energy that's staying still and us moving. A lot of fire season right now. Yes. Did I ever tell you that I'm a Taoist? No. I like that study of life. But yeah, that's not the problem, but I got a lot of Leo placements. I got a stellium, which is like 3 or more planets in one house. All Leo. That's what I'm saying. I love Leo. Like, I love the fire that I possess. Yeah, man. Fire is purification. Water is purification. Those are the only 2 elements that can purify something. Burn shit down, rebuild it. flood something out, rebuild it, right? So Mercury is in Leo right now. So communication, again, Leo's going to ask you to be in your authentic self. It's going to ask you to stand up for yourself. Doesn't want you to shrink for anybody, anything, anyone. So Mercury joining the Sun and Jupiter, which is also in the sign of Leo right now. Okay. It offers us an invitation to speak from our hearts, reclaim our voice, and approach communication as an art, aka being a wordsmith. Listen, if you need to go back into the dictionary to say some things in a manner in which people will not understand but they'll get it, you do that. Listen, I call him my Baba, but Baba Malcolm X, Malik El Shabazz, when he was in prison, a tourist, which is another one of my favorites, he studied the dictionary. He read the dictionary from A to Z. And it showed, because whenever he was doing an interview with them people, he was dancing circles around them with a smile. That man's palette of vocabulary. So yeah, if you need to go back and read some words in the dictionary to say some things to somebody or some people, don't do ChatGPT or whatever. Listen, stay away from all that nonsense because it's messing our head up. I'm from the old school where we had to go back to the dictionary, the thesauruses, okay? When you needed to say a word and put it in your, in your story or resume, okay? But this is the time it's inviting us to speak from our hearts. Leo is heart. Leo is sun. So there's going to be a lot of these placements are telling us to rise above the occasion and stand up for ourselves. Some of us have been letting a lot of stuff slide just for the sake of, and I understand, I'm a lover, not a fighter. But sometimes you got to let people know some things and put them in their place respectfully. So Mercury in Leo examines our relationships with being heard, because Mercury is communication, speaking our truth, sharing our joy with the world. This is a wonderful influence for all creative and artistic activities that involve words and language. Maybe you've been putting off writing a book, writing a memoir. I know I have. It's just the words be in my head. It's just I think too much. That's Aquarian rising in me. But maybe you wanted to write a letter or send that message, that text, that email to someone that you've been holding back. I'm not saying go write a love letter to your ex or something like that, but what I'm saying is that this is the perfect time to express yourself. If you are a creative writer, use this energy in Leo to put the fire underneath you, to start doing that, to write, journaling. I'm a big advocate for journaling. I grew up under the, Dear Diary era. I was always given a diary, either for my birthday or Christmas. And I'm like, what the hell is it? And I thought it was boring. I'm like, I'm not putting my thoughts into a book. Guess what? I got so many notebooks now that I'm scared to throw them out because there's so much stuff in there. Not incriminating, but there's so much stuff. So yeah, this is your time, all right? We also have Mars in Cancer right now. And I didn't write Jupiter in Leo, which I should have, but I didn't. I'm going to get back to another thing that's also in Leo, but Jupiter is in Leo right now. Jupiter is the planet of luck. It's the planet of abundance. Man, I'm glad I met you. Aw, thank you, old head. It's the planet of fortune. Okay, so think Jupiter. Jupiter was in Cancer not too long, just a couple of weeks ago. And that was a great feeling. Although me being a sun Cancer, I didn't feel, except for my birthday, I didn't feel the luck coming in. But now that it's in Leo season, and that's heavy in my chart, I'm relishing in this Jupiter energy, okay? So it's going to sit there for a while because it's a bigger planet, and it's almost like those outer planets that I was just explaining to you all about. So, yeah, man. All right, so Mars is in Cancer. That started yesterday. Again, these planets stay for, Jupiter's going to stay here for until the middle of next year. Um, Pluto in Aquarius, I think, is going to be like a year and a half or something like that. Um, Again, I'm not an astronomer. I'm not an astrologer. I don't really read the charts like that. So I'm doing layman's terms. You know, y'all can look this stuff up since y'all want to use the internet so much. Google, as they say, is your friend. I'm not bashing anybody. I go to Google and stuff like that too. But what I'm saying is, I refuse to use Chad, GPT, and I refuse to use the AI stuff. I'm an analog kid. Like, you gotta read a book, man. Not some audio book. Not a. You gotta have the tangibles, so you could go back and highlight what you read and understand it and comprehend. And I know there's highlights in those, all the books and stuff like that. So I ain't bashing. This is me being in my authentic self. So Mars in Cancer brings our focus to the connection between our emotions and our actions, and invites us to deepen our self-awareness. Cancer is a water sign. Cancer is the sign of emotion. All the water signs are, but really Cancer is the mother, is the first of the water signs. It's a cardinal sign. It's a ruler. So don't get it twisted that Cancers is, as they say, cry babies and all. So yeah, we crying because we holding back how we may take you out of here. That's why we crying. We holding back so we don't go to jail. Because Cancers is number one on the FBI's list of emotional. So baby, when I tell you I ain't trying to go to nobody's institution. So yeah, let me cry. Let me cry, let me laugh about it. Saving you and me. So that's Cancer's emotions. Cancers are funny, as I mentioned in Cancer season. These people, they are hilarious. Don't underestimate a Cancer's humor, because they're like dry, sarcastic, but funny, humorous. It's fun-loving. Cancers is the mother of the zodiac, so you're gonna get that nurture. Cancers, I feel like, are the ride or die best friend. Like, you need you a Cancer in your life, even if it's one. These people will hold you down, almost to a fault. Cancer flips. Yeah, man, we be flipping out. If AI was for us, it would solve racism. Yeah, that part. So Mars needs to find unconventional avenues for expression, and requires us to become more skilled in moving with the flow of our emotions. Again, it's this being in our authentic selves at the moment, but going with the flow of things. Yeah, you may want to say something at the moment because you're emotionally driven, but you really got to think out. That's what I'm saying. Go back to the Rolodex. And when I say Rolodex, for those that are late millennials, Gen Zs, I don't think I have any Gen Zs in my group, but that means just going back to the archives. It was this little box that had a bunch of cards in it, and we had to write people's addresses, names, and stuff, and that was called the Rolodex, because you would flip it. So when I'm saying go to the Rolodex, that means go back in the archives of your mind, reach in, or if you gotta go read a book or read the dictionary, read the thesauruses, get your encyclopedias, get your Britannicas, and that's what you do. Kill them with kindness. Kill them with kindness. The wordsmith, they'll feel like, damn, because words hurt. Don't let nobody sit here and fool you and talk about sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. What? I have to watch what I really say because my words be hurting. And I don't mean to hurt anybody. It's all out of love. But sometimes it's just like you gotta tell some, and the truth hurts. That is true. The truth hurts. People don't want to hear the truth about shit. They don't want to hear the truth about them, even if you're giving them constructive criticism. So use use this energy right now intently, okay? Intentionally rather. Speak, but speak when it's really necessary. If you're just saying shit because you want to be cocky, you want to get your point across, you need to talk because you feel like you gotta talk. No, sit back and observe when's the right time to open up and say something. Because this social media be having people tripping and just feeling like they gotta speak to just speak and talk over you and be disrespectful. And it's like, well, what? Because in real life, would you do that? I'll challenge you out in real life. Like, would you really do that? Social media got these little apps and stuff, got people on some tough Tony business out here that they feel like they can really talk to somebody and be disrespectful. Keyboard gangsters, as they call them. All right, so our energy levels tend to fluctuate more than unusual, mirroring the moon's phase and placement. The tendency is to avoid unnecessary risk and test the waters before jumping in. As I just said, navigate through this energy. You know, don't just come out boisterous because you can. Strategize, plot, plan. Read the art of Sun Tzu. Y'all don't want to read. It's kryptonite. I know. I didn't want to read when I was little either. But now, reference me a book. I'll take it a shot. I'll read it. Right. Read nearly full of book. And write it down. Exactly. British. Alright, so Cancer and Mars is saying our energy levels. Alright, I read that. And then it says, this transit offers us an opportunity to develop emotional courage and become more intentional with how we act, make decisions, and express what we feel. Okay, because Cancer is, they'll get that little emotion. Now, the last thing I'm going to mention is Chiron and Chiron retrograde in Taurus. Chiron is not a planet, okay, but it is in the celestial astrology charts, if you will. And anytime we hear retrograde, right, that's the energy that is standing still, redoing, and we are moving forward. Chiron is called the wounded healer. This is where my Chiron sits. It sits in the sign of Taurus. So Taurus rules money. Taurus is about beauty. Taurus is about love. So now I got the wounded healer retrograding in my Taurus. Yeah, it's a rough time for me. Anyway, this energy is it started August 3rd and will end September 17th, 2026. Thank goodness. Chiron, Chiron. Chiron. The Complete the Art of War by Ralph Sawyer. Okay, I'll look into that. The Complete Art of War by Ralph Sawyer. Okay? Yeah. We drop some knowledge on this channel. I go to where the knowledge is. I'm a seeker of knowledge. I'm a student first, teacher second. So Chiron is in Taurus right now, discovers life purpose. Okay? It's your inner growth and spiritual maturity. Again, when we're dealing with all these alignments, celestial alignments, this is not really about the physical. This is about the spiritual. This is about your soul purpose, okay? This is about your spirit and how you move. We are avatars. If you believe in reincarnation, and your soul's purpose was to do some things when it came down here, and it's taken on the human form, or it's taken this avatar on. Some say the soul missed the actual human encounter, so they came back. Some say they came back because they didn't finish out their life purpose. If you go according to numerology and certain master numbers, and if you have a lot of master numbers in your chart, in your in your birth chart, you were really supposed to be here doing something with your life. The ones that lives were taken short, tragic, there's so-called another purpose for them. It's hard. That's a hard thing to swallow, because nobody ever wants to hear of a baby being taken out of here. Nobody ever wants to think that somebody passed away in a tragic accident. No one wants to think my dad, who was 67, was taken out of here unexpectedly by a heart attack when he wasn't having any health issues. So, yeah. This is the time with Chiron in retrograde that you trust the timing of your healing journey. The pain you've been through is not here to break you. It's really not. But it feels like it. It's to awaken the healer within you. The Alchemist by Paul Coelho. It's always been in you, Dorothy. That's what I'm saying. I started off with it's always you, and I'm going to end this live with it's always been you. Okay? You go out there seeking something outside of yourself, you're going to find some things. And some things you may not come back from. Because it's not meant for you to. But when you come back to you, when you do your 360 and you come back, you'll find it's always been you. It's not being selfish to let go of people, places, and things, but sometimes you have to protect and conserve yourself, your energy, because it's just you. Count on one hand when the chips fall, who's really there? Count on one hand. Who's there? Everybody that you be pouring into and stuff like that, you probably pour more into that one hand that you can count them on than anything else. Do you have any media books? I do have a short OHED that I did for Black History Month, that I showed my books, my little archive, my little arsenal of the books that I have. So if you go back into my shorts, you could see that there. I posted that. I have, who do I have up there? It's not all revolutionary books either. Just like I have a Phoenix Core. I don't have Asada, because honestly speaking, like I understand Asada's, plight, but Afeni Shakur, who's Tupac's mom, she doesn't really get the credit that she deserves, and she was a Black Panther that was very intricate in the Harlem and Bronx chapters of the Black Panthers. She was the only one actually that got off when the 21 Panthers were charged and indicted for federal crimes in New York City. She was the one that went to the archives, went back. When they put her back in jail, she fired her lawyers. Again, I'm segueing, but this actually brings up a good point. She's a Capricorn. She was a Capricorn, but the energy never dies, right? I feel like I have a little part of Afeni Shakur in me. My mom was like Afeni Shakur, so I definitely have a revolutionary spirit. My rising is in Aquarius, and that's about revolution. It's also about humanitarian. So I definitely am for the people, first and foremost. And yes, human nature for sure. I'm an animal and lover. So I'm a lover of life. Let's just say that, and I'll fight for life. Sometimes it doesn't matter what skin color you're in. I'm a fight for life. But there's a certain group of people that yeah. Not all, but the ones that just took the little girl, the young lady's life out in Mississippi, the young Nolan Wells, the young Emmett Till, them. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, Mama Afeni Shakur doesn't get the limelight that she deserves in some ways. And yeah, they did the Dear Mom and stuff, but they really didn't. They can't show her son without showing her. And it's like she had a whole life before her son. And you know I love me some Tupac Shakur, Tupac Amara Shakur, but they really need to dive a little deeper with Afeni Shakur's life and how she led up to being in the Black Panther, and how, yes, she was pregnant with Pac while she was locked up. But she read the law library. She went into the law library in prison, and she was reading all those, law dictionaries and things like that. She was the student, and she became the master when she went back to trial. And she represented herself after firing her lawyers, represented herself and the other Panthers, and guess what? Got them off on federal charges. All 21 Panthers. She didn't run. No disrespect to the other Panthers that ran away and went underground and went to another country. No disrespect. She said this out of her mouth. I didn't run. I didn't go to Africa. She stayed. And when they roped her up, she was able to finesse them, and she got all the other Panthers, all 21, all 20, including herself, which is the 21, off. Being 8 months pregnant with Tupac. Y'all can call them informers. You could do whatever you want to do. Don't ever disrespect the Black Panthers, though, because half of us don't even have the wit to do what they did. Half of us is too comfortable in the situation that we're in now, that we're like, revolution for what? Anyway, that's what's in Chiron. Okay, so it's dealing with those healing emotional issues that we may have had, or that we may have still, and flipping it on its head. While again, you say, ooh, you cooking. You don't get me started with them, please. Yes, New York 21 Asada is one of my heroes. Geronimo Pratt said Pac knew better. Yeah, but again, he was 20 something years old, and unfortunately he was when we're talking about the energy outside of us, right? Because Pac knew better, but the energy outside of him was a heavier influence, and he thought that the people he was rolling with really was his ride or dies, because you got to think that young man was incarcerated for something that he didn't do, and we know that they know he's the son of a Black Panther. They also know that he also was a little mini Panther and starting up the revolution again. Don't think that Pac, this is a fluke. And please don't think that this trial that's happening right now with Keefe D is a patsy. Please read in my arsenal, OHED, I have the FBI war against Tupac Shakur and other Black leaders. I reference that all the time, because whenever you want to know about them, I also want to get the COINTELPRO book. I need to get that for sure. But don't think that these people wasn't watching this young man from when he was born. I just told you, Afeni got 20 people off a federal indictment. You think they was gonna let this woman walk, this Black woman walk like nothing else after that? Nah, man. They were surveillancing her the rest of her life, the rest of his life. So all that Las Vegas and stuff like that, he was supposed to be out in Quiet Studio. They thought they could get him then. And as Pac said, he said what? He got the old slave bones in him. He said, the old spiritual Negro bones in him is what he said. Because he survived that assassination. But as simultaneously as he survived it, they got him on something else and locked him up. And you think them guards in there was gonna treat him? He was saying they was doing, every time he had a visit, they was doing a cavity search on him. That's when he was talking about they was doing the hard R on him. Not that there was somebody physically doing some penetration to him. You silly nincompoops. Y'all want to make Pac so gay. But again, you couldn't even do half the stuff. And that was a young man. These men that are talking crap are in their 40s, their late 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s. That young man was 25 when he was taken out of here. Miss me with all the, oh, Pac was a ballerina, he was a fairy, he was Fruit Loops. Please. Shut up. Why? Because he went to performing arts? You think he wants to be a thug? He was being strategic because he read the art of Sun Tzu. Unlike you silly nincompoops, you didn't read that. You don't even know what the heck we talking about. You don't know that you had to be strategic. So I go back to him being in prison. Supposedly no one could put up some money to get him out. And here goes Sugar now. And Pac knew. But he said, I gotta get out. Or they gonna take me out. And so he left with them. And just because they put up that money, he thought these was really the ride or dies. And they might have shown him that. So did he have any business kicking up the Crip dude? No. That wasn't his battle. But he was being fed and pumped with a lot of energy that would hype him up. And he felt, I'm a battle for my dudes. I'm going to show them. He's still a young man at the end of the day. He's still in the, these are my brothers. And that's a recipe for when the other alphabet boys are watching. Disaster. And yeah, who knows about who set what up, because just like with John F. Kennedy, we're still sitting up here looking at footage and trying to pin the pieces together. We know who took John F. Kennedy out. Well, we don't. I don't. But we can speculate. I don't want nobody coming around. Oh, you know. You know. I don't know nothing. I plead the fifth. I just read whatever you put out there for me to read. Draw my own conclusions. Pac was a book reader. Yep. His book was Killuminati. I mean, not his book. His album, the last album. While that he was still working on the Machiavelli album. If you look at the cover, it says the Don Killuminati. He wasn't about that stuff. But everybody's favorite rapper that they all went to go see back in July, I ain't gonna say no names. It's part of that. The one that's always putting up the Baphomet stuff. When did you ever, Pac only did the West Side. When did you ever see Pac put up any Baphomet signs? When did you ever see Pac show you that he's a part of that allegiance? He was trying to fight that allegiance, but they're around him. You don't think those record labels, you don't think that Death Row was a part of that? Huh? Shit will be put in front of you in hindsight and you won't see it. Anyway, I'm going to do the all signs after I get off this live. meaning I will read, but there will be shorts for all the signs in Leo season. Starting off with the fire signs, starting off with Leo, and then I will work my way to earth, air, and then water. I go by elements, the elements, and the Gregorian calendar, whose birthday is coming up next, and where they sit in this energy. It's a general reading, so this is not applied specifically to any person, but do definitely know what your sun, your moon, your rising, and your Venus signs are, because then you can definitely get the full message of what I'm trying to say. If you only are reading for your sun sign, because most of us only know that we were born July 19th or May 19th, right? You will be like, that's a Taurus, that's a Cancer. But if you know what your moon is, your emotions, it could help you. Maybe that reading for that particular sign will help you understand things a little better. Moon is about secrets. It's about the inner thoughts, the spiritual side, the private side that everybody doesn't get to see. Your rising is just important, if not more important than your sun sign, because that is your true north node. That is you truly. So how you represent to people is the kind of the sign that they're going to pick up on. So if I'm an Aquarius rising, but my sun sign is in Cancer, I'm coming with a lot of thoughts. I'm coming with this, you know, allure or mythical, you know, like quiet, but then I'm letting you know, in what's in my thoughts, right? So that's your rising. Your rising is the planet that was going over the horizon of your sign. And then lastly is your Venus. I popped in the elevator. Whoa, wow. Rock should have did his time. Yeah, for real. Rock should have done this. But he was scared. He was scared that they were going to take him out. So he figured I'd be freer outside than being inside. But they had plans for him. They wasn't going to let that young man, because look, he was about to unite the nations of the East and the West. He was going to do, you know, the new Death Row East. Like, he was really going to do a lot back into the community, and that was all a strategic point to go back into revitalizing the Panthers. So the powers that shouldn't be, they don't want that. They don't want it's written in the COINTEL by uh, J. Edgar Hoover. No rise of a black messiah. So, your Venus is your planet of love. It's the planet of money, planet of beauty. So whatever sign is sitting in there, again, you could apply that message. How do you find your natal chart? Well, you can go online to one app that I use is an Astro Seek or Astro Cafe, one of the two. Anyway, type in free natal chart. And all you need to know is the time you were born, the city that you were born in, boom. If you don't know the time that you were born, you could put either 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. It'll shift your moon maybe 1 or 2, but the rest of your chart doesn't change. I think it's your moon sign that changes if you don't know what your time of birth is. All right, so I think that's pretty much covering everything. Yeah, for real, for real. And that's why he's like, oh, I'm not going to be testifying in this case. Okay, Shug. It's all right. You don't have to. Whatever. All right, y'all. So I'm going to go again. I'm going to put the cards. I'm going to do the shorts in a little bit. And go heat up the rest of my tea. And I will do this. Again, it's not going to be the live for the cards, unfortunately. I need to just get these cards out because, you know, we're already like in the middle of August. And I don't want to disrespect my Leos like that because, you know, I got love for you guys. I got love. All right. So with all that being said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, I appreciate you, old head. And Wale, brother Wale, that came through. Anybody else that's catching this live on the replay, I salute to you. Thank you so much for supporting, being with the channel, showing all the love and support. Definitely like this when you come in. You know, put comments in the section there. It keeps the algorithm going. If you want to share this live out to anybody, you can. Um, Again, go with, what is it? Go with God. Go with God body. Go with yourselves. Use this energy right to your best advantage. Don't get into any trouble. On that, catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.